This is Canto 6, Chapter 10, Summary. As described in this chapter, after Indra obtained the body of Datichi, a thunderbolt was prepared from Datichi's bones, and a fight took place between Vritrasura and the demigods. Following the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the demigods approached Datichi Muni and begged for his body. Datichi Muni, just to hear from the demigods about the principles of religion, jokingly refused to relinquish his body. But for higher purposes, he thereafter agreed to give it up, for after death, the body is usually eaten by low animals like dogs and jackals. Datichi Muni first merged his gross body, made of 5 elements, into the original stock of 5 elements, and then engaged his soul at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus he gave up his gross body. With the help of Vishwakarma, the demigods then prepared a thunderbolt from Datichi's bones. Armed with the thunderbolt weapon, they prepared themselves to fight and got up on the backs of elephants. At the end of Satya Yuga and the beginning of Treta Yuga, a great fight took place between the demigods and the asuras. Unable to tolerate the effulgence of the demigods, the asuras fled the battle, leaving Vritrasura, their commander-in-chief, to fight for himself. Vritrasura, however, seeing the demons fleeing, instructed them in the importance of fighting and dying in the battlefield. One who is victorious in battle gains material possessions, and one who dies in the battlefield attains a residence at once in the celestial heavens. In either way, the fighter benefits. Text 1. Sri Bhadarai Niruvacha Indramevam Samadishya Bhagavan Vishwabhavanaha Pashyatam Animeshanam Tatraivantar Didhe Hodihi. Sri Shukadev Goswami said, after instructing Indra in this way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hodi, the cause of the cosmic manifestation, then and there disappeared from the presence of the onlooking demigods. Tatabi achito devar rishir atarbano mahan modamana ubachedam prahasan nivaparata. O King Parikshit, following the Lord's instructions, the demigods approached Datichi, the son of Artava. He was very liberal, and when they begged him to give them his body, he at once partially agreed. However, just to hear religious instructions from them, he smiled and jokingly spoke as follows. Api vrindadaka yuyam no janita sharirinam Sangstayam yastrabhidroho Dushahas chetanapaha Api vrindaraka yuyam Najanita sharirinam Sangstayam yastrabhidroho Dushahascetanapaha. Yastrabhidroho Dushahascetanapaha. Abhivrindarakayuyam Najanita sharirinam Sangstayam Yastrabhidroho Dushahascetanapaha. Abhivrindarakayuyam Najanita sharirinam Samstayam Yastrabhidroho Dushahascetanapaha. Ladies. Abhivrindarakayuyam Najanita sharirinam Samstayam Yastrabhidroho Dushahascetanapaha. Abhivrindarakayuyam Najanita sharirinam Samstayam Yastrabhidroho Dushahascetanapaha. Abhivrindarakayuyam Najanita sharirinam Samstayam Yastrabhidroho Dushahascetanapaha. Api, although, Vrindadakaha, O demigods, Yuyam, all of you, Najanita, do not know, Sharirinam, of those who have material bodies, Sangstayam, at the time of death, or while quitting this body, Yaha, which, to, then, Abhidroha, severe pain, Dushasaha, unbearable, Chaitana, the consciousness, Apahaha, which takes away. O elevated demigods, at the time of death, severe, unbearable pain takes away the consciousness of all living entities who have accepted material bodies. Don't you know about this pain? Oh, now we have one more verse. Jijivishunam jivanam atma preshta ihepsitaha ka utsahetatam datum bhikshamanaya vishnave. In this material world, every living entity is very much addicted to his material body, struggling to keep his body forever. Everyone tries to protect it by all means, even at the sacrifice of all his possessions. Therefore, who would be prepared to deliver his body to anyone, even if it were demanded by Lord Vishnu? Purport. It is said, Atmanam sarvato rakshet tato dharmam tato dhanam. One must protect his body by all means. Then he may protect his religious principles, and thereafter his possessions. This is the natural desire of all living entities. No one wants to give up his body unless it is forcibly given away. even though the demigods said that they were demanding Dadichi's body for their benefit, in accordance with the order of Lord Vishnu, Dadichi superficially refused to give them his body. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadhati Shapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hodi Priye Vansha Kolpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. You go till 8:30? Come time? So the demigods asked asked Dadichi Muni for his bones, which means they asked him to die for their benefit. And Dadichi Muni was willing. After all, it was a good cause, and everyone has to die. But Modamana, he wanted to have some fun. Brahmabhuta prasannatma nashochati nakankshati. A self-realized person has nothing to aspire for, nothing to lament about, and therefore prasannatma, he's always joyful. Prabhupada said this is the first sign of a self-realized person. He's always jolly. So Modamana, in a jolly mood, he decided to tease the demigods and instruct them. So he said, Api vrindaraka yuyam na janita sharirinam samsthayam yastrapidroho dushahas chetanapaha. Demigods, you don't understand what kind of pain one has to undergo at the time of death. Samsthayam abhidroho. The Bhagavad Gita, in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Dosha Anudarshana. One always has to keep in mind these miseries that come from these four causes: birth, old age, disease, and finally death. Death is certainly painful. We see animals die, how may suffer. Sometimes we may be present when a human being dies, and how much suffering is involved. Dushaha, unbearable. And Chaitanabha, just your consciousness is taken away, you undergo unbearable pain. You want me to do that? Maharaj Kulashekar also prayed, it's better to die now, because my consciousness is in a good situation. And at the time of death, everything becomes disrupted. Kapabit, what is that? Vittai. Katavatu, Kapavatu Vittai, Kantavaro, Smaranam Kutas. So much trouble. The body consists or is governed by these three elements, kapha, pitta, vayu. And at the time of death, they're all, even during life, they become unbalanced, they become deranged. Then we get pains in the body, we get pains in the muscles, in the bones, and digestion doesn't work. The mind, you get headaches. The mind doesn't work. This is all due to disruption of these three elements. And the time of death means maximum disruption. All at once, everything is completely, because now the soul is going to be forced out of his body. In the fourth canto, we hear the story of King Puranjana, in which the life air is compared to a snake, and the agents of death bind that snake with ropes and drag him out of the city of the body. How practically torture it is. Therefore, at the time of, as death approaches, people are given heavy painkillers, morphine, this, that, because that's just leading up to death, how much pain there is. Heavy painkillers, because otherwise they're screaming, they're in torture. Then finally death, maximum. So the Dadichi Muni said to the demigod, you don't understand what you're asking. Jijivishunam jivanam atma preshta ihepsita. Preshta, the body is, what is more dear to us than the body? If you ask me to give away my home, I'll protest. But if the choice is, give away your home or give up my body, I'll take my home. The cliche in old movies is that the thief comes, the gunman comes, he points the gun and says, your money or your life. So no one wants to give up money, but it's an easy choice. Take the money. Even though he's worked so hard for that money, maybe it's all the money he has, but he'll give up the money before he'll give up his life. Prabhupada quotes, first save your life, then even dharma, people will give up their religious principles if threatened with death. Anything but death. Because jijivishunam jivanam, the jiva aspires to live. Because he's eternal, he doesn't want to die. Even if you try and step on a cockroach, he runs away. Because he wants to live forever. He's a jiva, he's a living being. Therefore he doesn't want to die. But in his present circumstance, because he's bound to this body, and the body will die, he thinks, I also have to die. And therefore at all costs, he tries to stay alive. We see that for the people for whom death is approaching, they try this, they try that, they try anything. This cure, this therapy, this treatment, that treatment. Anything. This didn't work, I'll try this. This didn't work, I'll try that. This didn't work, maybe this will work. And $10,000, $50,000. We hear that 80% of medical costs go in the last few months of life. Spent in the last few months. And why? Practically the writing is on the wall that he's going to die, but still he wants to live, somehow or other. Undergoing troublesome jab, and so many difficult treatments, expense. Still, no one wants to die. Jijivi Shama, he wants to go on. What is that? Ahanya hanya bhutani gachanti hayamalayam shesha stabara ichchanti kimaisharya tappara. We all see that everyone has to die, but still we're holding on. Still we're holding on. I don't want to die, I don't want to die. But the self-realized person, all right, let me die. Prabhupada had the desire in his final days to go on parikrama of Govardhan in an ox cart. And the Kaviraj said that if Prabhupada goes on this ox cart ride, at the first bump, he'll be finished. He's just bones, hardly... in his bed, he's hardly staying together. And he's going to go on an ox cart ride, he'll be finished at the first bump. So the devotees were pleading with Prabhupada, don't go on this ox cart ride. The Kaviraj says that you'll die. Prabhupada said, I won't die, I'll live. Anyway, if I die, that's expected. And if I live, then it's wonderful. So the self-realized person, he knows. Najayate mriyate va kadachin. Nayam bhutva bhavita va nabuya. Ajo nitya shashvato yam purana. Death of the body doesn't mean that the person dies. The person is immortal. Najayate mriyate va. There's no birth, there's no death. He knows, I'm not this body. So where's the question of death? And whatever's happening to the body isn't happening to me. Very exalted position. Prabhupada cites the example of the philosopher, Greek philosopher Socrates, who was condemned to die by drinking poison. And his followers, so he was inquiring from the jailkeeper, what is the poison, how does it work, and so on. Then he gave them the cup of poison. His followers had volunteered that we'll help you escape. He said, no, I have to die anyway. So then he sent all the women out of the room. Then he drank the poison. Then some of his followers began crying. He said, why are you crying? That's why I sent the women out of the room. What is there to cry about? Haven't I taught you anything? And the jail keepers asked him, how would you like to be put in the grave? And he responded that first you catch me, then you put me in the grave. That means you can't put me in the grave. You'll put my body in the grave only. But you can't even catch me, what to speak of putting me in any grave. Well, this is self-realization. So Dadichi Muni instructed them that everyone wants to go on living because preshta, atma, preshta, the body is so dear. It may be wretched, it may be falling apart, it may be giving pain at every moment, it may be dwindled down to hardly anything, it may be ugly and disgusting, but still we don't want to leave it. Who can bear to leave the body? Dikshamanaya Vishnave. Demigod said that we've come to ask your body, ask for your bones, instructed by Lord Vishnu. Dadichi Muni said, even for Vishnu, who can give up his body? It's so difficult. So in this way, he's instructing the demigods. And we'll find that finally, all right, what is the difficulty? For a higher purpose, let me give it up. I have to give it up anyway. So, what is the problem? All right, any questions? How to prevent the tendency to find faults in Indra, given his apparent inappropriate behavior in the current chapters. The faults are already found in Bhagavatam. It's critical that Indra is, that Dhritarashtra is already, come on Indra, fight, what's wrong with you? You care about your celestial kingdom, don't you? So his behavior is already criticized. But we should, for our instruction, but we should know that still he's one of the demigods. Even if a great soul, what is that? Tajiyasam nadoshaya. That for the super powerful, there's no fault. They're not on our level. There's a saying in Latin that what's good for the, what is that? Quod lecit Jovi, non lecit Bovi. What's legitimate for the king of the gods, Jovi, is not legitimate for Bovi, for the cow. The cow does not have the same privileges as the king of the demigods. So we have to observe that principle, that the superiors, after all, there are superiors. Even Arjuna gave that argument to Krishna. Pujarha Varisurina. Guruna Hatvahi Mahanubhavan. What is that? Moksham. Moksham Bhak. Guruna Hatvahi Mahanubhavan. Shreyo Bhoktum Bhakshamapiha Bhoktum. Hatvarta Kamams tu Guruni Haiva. Unjiya Bhogan Rutira Pradigna. Maybe they're greedy, but still they're my gurus. Still they're my gurus. Pujarha Varisu. Katam Vijmam Aham Sanke Dronam Cha Madhusudana Ishubi Pratiyotsyami. Pujarha Varisudana. How can I fight them? I shouldn't be shooting arrows, I should be offering flowers. So, but Krishna desired, no, you have to fight. All right, I'll fight. Higher principle. But the ordinary standard etiquette is that the superior should be honored. Even at that Draupadi, don't kill him, don't kill him. Ashwatthama. Why? He's a Brahmin. Little sentimental, but the idea is there that the superior person in the superior position should be respected. But still, for our instruction, his faults are pointed out in Bhagavatam. There was a question in the back.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Dhanavad Pranam. Maharaj, as it is mentioned in this chapter that although Dadaji gave up his body, Dadaji Muni, he gave up his body because he knows that he is spirit soul. So even after knowing that,
Dadichi Muni gave up his body because he knew that he was spiritual. Okay.
So similarly, in our case, like theoretically we know that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. But our false ego is so much, engrossed with this body conscious that even after knowing many, many times, if someone says something to us, immediately we become, egoistic, and our ego burns like hotter than fire. So our ego, it burns like hotter than fire.
We know that theoretically we're not this body, but if someone says something to us, then we burn like fire. This is called our conditioned nature. Therefore, Prabhupada, we want Prabhupada to talk about Radha and Krishna and the gopis and Madhurya Leela and all that. And what is he talking about? You're not this body, you're not this body, you're not this body, you're not this body. And still after hearing it 10,000 times, we think, well, yeah, I'm not this body, but... This bodily conception is so powerful. At the present moment, Prabhupada sometimes says we're a combination of matter and spirit, because the body is welded to the soul is welded to the body. And then when you have to pull them apart, so therefore we have to become advanced in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama. The false ego has to be burnt up in the fire of Krishna consciousness. How can one maintain gravity and jolliness together? It seems difficult. And Prabhupada is our example. We saw that he was quite jolly, but not, there's a word, giddy. Do you know that word in English, giddy? I didn't think you did. Giddy. Giddy means jolly, but overly jolly. Like the way a little girl is giggling. That's giddy. Like a person who's intoxicated, he's dizzy and he's singing and he's excessively jolly, foolishly jolly. Everything is contextual. Like the judge, when pronounces the death sentence, judge is very grave. I sentence you to be hanged by the neck until dead. Because in context, that's the appropriate comportment. If the judge says, I sentence you to be hanged by the neck, that's inappropriate. The judge may be a very jolly person, but when gravity is called for, the judge has to be very sober. So Prabhupada would sometimes rebuke us if we would laugh at the wrong time. Prabhupada would say, no, this is serious. Don't laugh. So it takes some maturity and judgment to know when you can be in a joking mood and when you should be very serious. It takes both things. We saw both things were there in Prabhupada's personality. He could be very funny, very joking, but when seriousness was called for, then he was the most grave. No Mahajana Yena Kata Sapanta. Something else? Oh, you've got the microphone.
Yeah.
Okay, man with the mic has priority.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Maharaj, for enlightening class, especially. Question like here in purport, Prabhupada mentioned, and we also know that life is most dear as the possessions and wealth and all. But in some places in Bhagavatam, Prabhupada mentioned this, even one is risking the life, even like given the example of thief, or one is risking the life for earning the money. One person is risking his life, just he was risking the life. Yeah, risking the life for earning the money. Prabhupada gave the example thief and the soldiers and all.
Yeah.
So how these two things can be reconciled?
Prabhupada said nothing is more dear than your life, and yet people risk their lives for money. Well, how do we reconcile the two? It's called craziness. Why do I want the money? It's for my life, right? But I risk my life to get the money. Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma yadindriya pritiya aprinoti. Because when the senses become mad, one risks everything. He risks his life. A man is chasing after a woman at the risk of being killed by her husband, but for sense gratification, he's thinking, let me do it. It's crazy. The thief is stealing from the bank at the risk of being shot by the guards, but still the imagination of how he'll enjoy that money. What is that? Harati pragyam vayurnavamivambasi. What is that? Indriyanam hi charitam yanmano nuvidhiyate tarasya harati pragyam. The way that a strong wind carries away a ship on the water, the senses, agitated senses, carry away even the intelligence of a sober person. So it's madness, actually. If your life is the most dear thing, why are you risking it simply for sense gratification? Either immediate or extended. If someone gives his life for his country, then he's a great hero, he's a noble man. But what is he giving his life for? A piece of dirt. And which flag is going to be planted in it? Well, it's, again, foolishness. If you have to give up your life, give it up for Krishna. Why for Maya?
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, thank you very much for explaining very nicely and for your wonderful practice of lifetime of dedication to Srila Prabhupada mission. Maharaj, we read in Lilamrit like devotees during Srila Prabhupada times.
Slower and clearer.
Okay. Maharaj, we read in Lilamrit.
We're reading in the Lilamrita. What are we reading?
The devotees during Srila Prabhupada times, they took
Devotees living with Srila Prabhupada?
During Srila Prabhupada's times,
Yes.
They took devotional service very sincerely in their own lives.
They took devotional service very sincerely in their own life.
And they were also working hard to expand the mission and preaching.
Working hard to expand the mission and so on.
So, how can we aspire to follow in their footsteps and
work hard to expand the mission? How do you aspire? What should I tell you? Why were they working so hard? Because they made Prabhupada's, satisfying Prabhupada their life and soul. They made his instructions their life and soul. In that way, make the orders of your spiritual master your life and soul and follow. Is that all right? Yes, teacher.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. He spoke in Hindi, so I am translating. He is asking about Sukrat. Who was Sukrat?
Shukra?
You spoke about Sukrat being caught by the jail keeper. Socrates.
Sukriti, I spoke about Sukriti. Socrates. We went from Shukra to Sukriti, and finally we've gotten to Socrates. Okay. Now, Socrates ke bare mein, what's the question about Socrates? Who was he?
He could not understand that incident, like I feel, which you spoke.
Which part could he not understand?
Okay. Clear to him now. it's clear to him. I spoke that.
Clear to him?
He was asking about that incident of which happened. Jailkeeper caught him, and then he told that first you have to catch me.
Yeah.
So he was little confused. So now he understood that.
So, what?
That incident
Yes.
in which Socrates was caught, and he told that you have to catch me first.
Yes. So
So
what's the question?
so he was asking about the identity of Socrates. That
The
who was
identity
he?
of Socrates?
Who was he like?
Who was he? He was a philosopher in ancient Greece. He's the, you can say, premier philosopher. He's the number one famous Greek philosopher. Then later comes Aristotle and all of these people. Socrates is a famous ancient Greek philosopher. Is that enough? Is that the question? Okay. And he's better than the modern philosophers. He admitted that there's a distinction between the body and the self. He understood that thing. Maybe his knowledge wasn't perfect, but that much he knew quite clearly. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. As we know in the ISKCON world, you are among the one of the most scholars. You are in the ISKCON world among the most scholar devotee, straightforward.
No, just speak slower. Go ahead.
Everyone knows in ISKCON world that you are one of the among the most scholar devotees, straightforward as well as strict. Simultaneously, how you maintain this simplicity, Maharaj? Like devotees knows, so all the things together, like maintain the simplicity, straightforwardness, along with this.
Whatever good qualities I have, they just come from eating prasadam.
How we can inculcate.
Eat prasadam. Any of you who eat prasadam, you can surpass me easily. All right. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.